Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, depending on where you're connecting from. Welcome to yet another Citrix Ready webinar in this technical webinar series, where we showcase how Citrix and our partners like Pointsharp here with us today have integrated to deliver valuable products and solutions to common problems faced by our customers. I'm Anil Kumar, your host for today. I'm a technical marketing manager at Citrix Ready. I manage an ecosystem of partners related to networking and security technologies, Pointsharp being one. I've been with Citrix for a little over 3 years now in the Citrix Ready team. Had the pleasure to work with a lot of vendors in the security and networking space. And we have Pointsharp with us today. We'll see how Pointsharp enhances Citrix's workspace through their multi-factor authentication solution. And to present that, we have a great gentleman here with us today. Hey, Nicholas, welcome to the webinar. Could you provide a brief intro about yourself, please?
Thank you very much for the introduction, Anil, and hi, everybody. So my name is Nicholas Brask, one of a few co-founders of Pointsharp, responsible for sales. Been working in the IT security industry, maybe for a few years too many, but really enjoying it. I'm very thankful for inviting today and joining this webinar and talk a little bit about our technologies and how we work together with Citrix to create great solutions. Thanks, Anil.
Sounds great. But welcome once again, Nicholas. Next slide, please. Right. So here's the agenda we have laid out for you today. Pretty straightforward. I'll introduce a little bit about Citrix Ready. Then we move on to a little detail of how Citrix Workspace really helps organizations to be more efficient. Then I'll hand it over to Nicholas to introduce Pointsharp as a company and all the exciting work they do around multi-factor authentication and identity and access management. And before we move forward, let me provide a very brief introduction about what Citrix Ready is. Next slide. So some of you may have worked with us earlier. Many of you may be new, but let me tell. Citrix Ready is a partner program where we work with a lot of vendors and technology companies to validate their compatibility with Citrix's products. For customers, this provides added confidence and a choice before they buy or make a purchasing decision for products which are compatible with Citrix's. We host all these products in our Citrix Ready marketplace, and that's available at the below links. And if you're a technology vendor and if you're interested to get your products validated and onboard Citrix Ready partner family, there's a website. The link will share in our follow-up emails. You'll have all the details and the benefits about the program and a quick link to sign up. And as always, if you have any questions, you could drop an email at citrixready@citrix.com. And just one housekeeping item before we move forward. If you have any questions during the webinar about Citrix Ready or Pointsharp, please use the questions panel in the go-to-market control panel. Will be monitoring all your questions and will take up all your questions at the end of the webinar. Next slide, please. So let's see what's the real need for a new security approach. We'll see how it's been, how security's been done over the years, and what's the shift that has happened, and what's the need for a new focus on it. Next slide, please. Right. So some of you may have already started to recognize what's happening here. So the nature of work has really evolved, and the need for the change, and there's a real need for the change in the IT security approach. To begin with, let me tell you how the role and world of IT and networking professionals used to be earlier. Basically, it used to be very clearly defined. IT had an insight of all the applications. All the applications were known. There was a network, and it had a well-defined border. The DMZ used to be very simple, and that was protecting your data center, and you knew what was flowing in and out of it, and all of this was very predictable. In a nutshell, to say, everything had well understood boundaries, and there was a comfortable level of control. But today, as you can see in the right side, we don't. I mean, we basically cannot have the same level of control, right? Everything is dispersed and disaggregated. We see users are embracing all kind of applications with the intention of being productive, of course, uh, by 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 subscribing into SaaS applications, cloud apps. They are using hosted services that are living on premises, which may be in private or public clouds, etc. Uh, what's also interesting is some of these applications may be sanctioned by IT. The rest could be shadow IT, and what's also happening is they are accessing all these applications from a wide variety of devices. It could be through their desktops, laptops, their tablets, and even mobile phones. And these devices could be company owned, or it could be and it could be their private devices as well. So with all this uh, disruption in terms of applications and devices, uh, poor old IT is finding itself with no more end-to-end control, which is a problem for security. They understand that there are holes and black areas now where there is less or no visibility at all. There is very less predictability, which results in more and more control issues. And you also lose the ability to control users' high quality experience. With all that said, IT is still expected to deliver a seamless user experience, keeping security in mind, and that leads to IT managers think about a new approach for security. And in order to address this new way of working that have expanded the workspace outside of the desktop and outside of the corporate network itself, you have to be able to expand the reach of your security to maintain the right control. Next slide, please. So let me build this up real quick, right? You see what's happening. You see the users. You see them accessing from different locations. You see the applications, which is really spread out. You see the cloud, the on premises. Uh, so work is really distributed, right? More than ever before. We have users connecting from every place possible, from any devices. We also see application proliferation, SaaS, hybrid and multi-cloud approaches taken by enterprises, and we also see legacy and traditional apps still locked behind the data centers for many reasons which we already know of. So you can imagine what it takes for an IT manager to ensure security throughout this distribution, and that's complex, right? Next slide, please. Right. So with all this device and applications proliferation and the move to the cloud, the hybrid cloud approaches, and things like that. In order to secure all this, IT is really throwing in a lot of point solutions and to address point challenges. We also understand that many of these are powerful individual technologies solving real business problems, but too often they are used in a very overlapping manner, and we really encourage uh, it for the IT to have a cohesive strategy. But at the end, this is all very complex. This is all very expensive, and this complexity increases the security risks, which it definitely increases the security risks. Next slide. Right. In order to prove this, we did a survey along with Ponymon with over 700 organizations back in 2017. As you can see, 83% of the businesses agree that complexity of their organizational structures and IT infrastructure is putting their companies at an even greater risk for security breaches. Next slide. Right, cybersecurity is a huge business concern than ever before, right? Attackers are now motivated more, and they are more driven by financial and monetary value they get through attacks. Enterprises are targeted by state-sponsored attackers. Um, Average time to discover a breach is over 200 days, and more small and medium businesses are targeted by ransomware. And when a breach happens in a company, it really takes hit on their trust and reputation, and also a huge impact on the stock prices incurring a huge loss to the company itself. And we've also seen and this is well known that there's a real shortage of security experts in enterprises. We've heard. I mean, one of the surveys shows that 70% of the companies plan to increase the size of their cybersecurity teams by 15% or more. And another point I want to highlight is the attack surface itself. The surface area is becoming too vast for traditional security approaches to remain effective. Businesses have moved to new ways of working and new locations where data is stored. With all this complexity being the biggest enemy of security, we all can definitely agree that a completely new approach for security is required. Next slide. So let's see how Citrix can help in reducing this IT complexity and in turn provide a secure workspace, which is more people centric and very effective in terms of providing a single pane um, to access all your data, all your desktops, all your apps from one place. Next slide. So this is Citrix Workspace. This is the Citrix Workspace offers a user-centric experience where everything you need to work is in one unified app with conditional access and performance made simple based on user context and IT design policies. And with this approach to security, we provide a user a better adaptive and contextual experience based on where they come, and it doesn't really matter from which device they are using. Complexity is really hard to tame, but it's also where Citrix can help, really helping organizations deal with the complexity and pull it together in a way that creates this new software-defined perimeter, and also enables easy access for people wherever they are around the world, whatever device they come in, to give them contextual access to the apps, informations, and resources they need. Next slide. And we do to and Citrix Workspace really comprises of the suite of this suite of products, which is displayed to the right. We've made some changes to our product names. Our very well-known Synapse and Zen-Desktop, we call it. We've renamed it to Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktops because we thought that that's more relevant. Um, the share file has become Citrix Content Collaboration and Control. We have a new cloud-based service called Citrix Analytics that's going to monitor your entire Citrix infrastructure and will detect and provide you breach information well before it's made any breaches. We have the gateway servers and the NetScaler or the Citrix SD-WAN taking care of the access security. So all these products complete our Citrix Workspace story when used in Unison, and it really helps IT kind of reduce that complexity which we were talking about. Next slide. And with that said, I'm gonna hand it over to Nicholas to help us understand how Pointsharp can integrate with Citrix Workspace and really increase that security and help some of the security challenges which I talked earlier.
Thank you very much, Anil. And to start, very quickly for those of you that haven't encountered Pointsharp before, give you some quick facts, and then I will focus not on the company, rather what we can deliver together with Citrix. So Pointsharp is a security company. All we do is security, secure login, and also a strong focus on simplicity, making it easy. We established 2006, headquartered out of Stockholm in Sweden, and we've been a partner with Citrix since 2012. We really value the partnership with Citrix as we have a lot of joint customers that are utilizing Citrix products together with Pointsharp. So from our side, we want to make sure that we have the best integration, certify our products with Citrix to ensure that we get a good experience of our joint products at the customer. So very short, we do and work with multi-factor authentication for enterprise organizations. We focus on the end user experience, and we also focus on securing the login to Citrix Workspace and all products included in that. So enough said about Pointsharp. What do we do then more in detail? Well, today's need of securing user identities is very different from yesterday. So a modern workplace today have new challenges, but also new possibilities. Mobility over the years and the move to cloud has really changed the way how we want to work, but also how we can work. Users are much more in focus today, and they of course have their AAA requirements. They really want access to applications from any device, anywhere, and anytime. So organizations today, they have to support multiple devices that also comes with different platforms. It's not just Windows PCs anymore. They have to support Microsoft's broader range of devices, and also Google and Apple and more. As well as cloud has driven most organizations into a hybrid IT environment, where some applications are still on-prem and some have moved to cloud and everything in between there. To meet this challenge, Pointsharp's vision is to provide one solution that is separated from all of the applications, both on-prem and in cloud, to be able to secure the identities of all your users when they log into their applications in cloud and on-prem. So we deliver security. Then it comes, why do you need security? Why do you need multi-factor authentication? Well, same as mobility and cloud has driven new possibilities, your business applications and information are much more exposed for cyber crimes. Yesterday, everybody that worked remotely and at an organization had one digital door with a VPN solution. Today, every application is a digital door that is ready to be breached. And cybercrime is growing, and one of the most growing areas within cybercrime is identity theft. And cybercrime has been growing into a large business and continues to grow. It's not just hackers that do things for fun. It's funded, as Anna talked about in previous slides, from governmental, states, business to earn money, kidnap data, and so more. And identity theft is one of the tools to accomplish this. So mobility and moving applications to cloud really increase the exposure of identity theft. And that's one big reason why you need a good MFA solution. But with MFA and other security products, it's really easy to just see it as a cost, and it creates problems for the users and organization. Is that really true? Is that how it is? Yes, it could be. Definitely if you don't understand why you're investing in security and why you need to adapt to the changes in the world. So consider you invest in a home alarm so you can go on vacation and feel safe. You don't need an alarm, but you can have it so you can feel safe while going to vacation. So that's a value. You have an airbag in your car so you can travel more and safer. Even space capsules have parachutes if the rocket malfunction, so we can do safe space travels. It actually happened the other week for a Russian rocket and saved 2 astronauts, one Russian and one US. So safety is good. And that's also why you should invest in multi-factor authentication. If you do that, your user can be more mobile and be more effective, while your users and organization is safe and secure. So, but in a modern workplace also, where applications can be anywhere and users logging into applications rather than network, it's easy to end up with multiple MFA solutions. Talking a little about point solutions that Anna talked about before, because we need MFA at that, so we enable it on that application. So with that, you can easily end up with multiple MFA solutions, losing overview, and provide your users with different user experience for each application. So that's one of the sole ideas with Pawnshop, having one solution that gives your user login and access to all applications on-prem and in cloud in the different delivery that is available. You also get central monitoring. You can see to when and what application you use to log into. Doesn't matter if the application is in cloud or on-prem. You have a central point for auditing, so you easier can meet your security requirements and make sure you are compliant. You also get central control of blocking access for users that shouldn't have access anymore. We also believe a good MFA solution should be separated from the application you're protecting. So as an example, if you're using Office 365, well, you shouldn't use a Microsoft MFA because it's part of the application delivery. So reasons for that, if the application gets compromised, your user login to all other applications shouldn't be. If you want to switch application over time, you shouldn't lock yourself into an authentication solution that is connected to one of the applications, because remember, authentication that integrates with all of your applications. So you should have one authentication solution that fits all your use cases and not one that comes with other applications that is designed to primarily make sure it works best with that application. So also in a modern workplace, we know logging into applications, a user have to prove their digital identities much more frequently, typical several times a day even. It's not just you log in once to network and then you work for 8 hours that day. So user experience is everything. With a Pointsharp login app, you can give your users a daily security app that assists them in being secure and getting access to their application through one single app. So it provides secure login by using the smartphone that the user carries. It's a modern way of authentication. It's easy for the user and it's a device they already bring with them. So there's no more need for any hardware dongles and so. We also know that just using it easy is good, but it also have to be easy to onboard for the user, for themselves, but also for the organization for deploying a large volume of users. We also know that other things like branding and making sure the app can carry the organization's profile makes it easier on the user experience and adds to the security and trust and look and feel. So with that, you can also do other stuff, and I'll come back to that, like integrating it more with help desk and so forth. We also protect the login app with biometrics for ease of use, and we can also add self-service tasks like password reset and other stuff that is connected through when a user work with their identities. The login app do much more. It's all about doing more. Just MFA is not everything. That's why we talk about secure login. It's an overall experience. With Pointsharp, you're also in control of all the logins and access, and we actually ensure that we store all of this data in a database. With that, you can get a real-time insight how and when users log in and confirm their identities, and also to what application. You get auditing, tracking, user history is just a click away through one and single dashboard. So even if a user log in to local VPN, if the user log in to Citrix Workspace in cloud or Workspace on-prem or Office 365, doesn't matter. Everything is visible through our dashboard. We have a lot of data. We show a lot of it, but you can even have more by integrating any third-party tool for further analytics and reporting as well. So security that is easy on the user experience, we strongly believe that makes it easier to work and give a modern and much more efficient organization. Central control is also important. It makes it easy to turn off user access. So for example, reports states like about 33% of ex-employees, they still have access after 1 week. And that's of course not good. It's also easier to ensure you're compliant to your security requirements. They may be legal, business, or other that may affect your organization. Also, security by separation ensures that you can have security even if your cloud vendor gets compromised. So in short, we offer an Mfa solution, multifactor authentication, that allow you to take control of your digital identities in a modern workplace. So going a little bit deeper on the user experience, our login app is really designed with the user in focus. When a user log in to an application, they normally enter a username and password to prove their identity. After that, the login app take over. We send out a notification to the user, a login is in progress, to ensure they're aware that now they have and can confirm the identity through the app. They can do it directly on the notification. Notification is similar like the user would get from a news app or similar, but can also open up the app through the notification to get more detail on what's going on and see what application they're logging into and so forth. So the login app is important part improving the identity. So we want to use measurement to increase the security of that, but still keeping ease of use for the end user. So we use biometrics to protect the login app. It can be on by the user themselves for convenience, but it can also be centrally enforced by the organization. So we use sensors on the device. So an iPhone, you have Face ID, Touch ID. Samsung, you may have an iris and face recognition, and most devices support with fingerprint for biometrics as well. So we can also, on top of that, enforce that the login app only works if the device also has screen lock turned on. By that, you know that no one can get a hold of the app just by getting a lost phone. That phone has to be locked as well. So then other stuff that basically doesn't have with multi-factor authentication to do, but works on the ease of use for the user experience. So it's our login app, but we designed it for our customers. So for us, it's important it can be branded as much as possible, so the user can feel and recognize their company or organization they are working with. And adding to that, we can also customize and give a full information on how the user with need of assistance can get in touch with help desk. So they have a full page with instruction. You can have phone number. They click the phone number. You call not the Pointsharp help desk. You call the organization help desk that you have for your organization, and that gives much more of coverage when you want to support the user while they're proving their identity. And one of the common things when a user wants to have access to or get in touch with help desk, so we want to help them do that, but we also want to help them do it as seldom as possible. And one of the most common scenarios for a help desk is user that have forgotten their password when they try to log in. And this is for many organizations a high cost per ticket, can be expensive. It may be unsecure, exposed for social hacking, and not easy for the end user. But with the Pawnshop login app, a user can with one click go through a password reset process, reset the password, no need to reach out to help desk, and it's available directly from the smartphone, and it's available 24/7, and of course protected with multi-factor authentication as well. We also work with push notification. We send out push notification to assist the user when logging in for onboarding, automatic messaging. It can be sending out one-time password when they have as a backup. So there are a lot of scenarios, and even help desk can send out the individual messaging directly to the user, which is stored in an inbox that is part of the login app also. But as mentioned before, the login app is designed to be easy to use, but it's also designed to be easy to onboard. Important for the end user that has to do it once, but also important for the organization that may have thousands of users that have to have an easy onboarding. Otherwise, it will be tough on the organization itself. So the login app can be 100% onboarded with easy self-service approach through a user portal. Can be from a desktop and the login app, take a photo and a QR code, or directly on the smartphone. It can be configured directly with an easy onboarding process that of course also is protected with multi-factor authentication. We also know that in some scenarios, there are still reasons to use the old way of doing multi-factor or two-factor authentication based on one-time password. So we built in the login app a Google Authenticator, which can be used as a backup or for some use cases, and the user can even enter their private profiles for other social media or whatever they're using directly in one and the same app, and it's also, of course, protected by biometrics and other choices that we have. And you can use it for sending out one-time password as well, and you don't need the cost for SMS. And we recognize also a lot of customers are in different stages in the road from on-prem to cloud and different security solutions. Some are still working with one-time password tokens like Google Authenticator. Of course, we have our own SMS, hardware token, still popular in the defense industry. So from Pointsharp, we think the smartphone is a way to go, but we support all different methods and they're included in our solution. And we're not only supporting them, we also provide an ease of use for the onboarding process. If you want to use a Google Authenticator, you can onboard it through our user portals and connect it to our software as well. So how do we integrate with Citrix? Well, everything you can publish and provide access with Citrix Gateway, previously known as a NetScaler, you can protect the login with Pointsharp. You can also use the Citrix Gateway as an identity provider, IDP, as well as use Pawnshop as an MFA solution for that scenario. The user says username and password, and the phone pops up, asks you to confirm, are you really logging into this service on your NetScaler or Citrix Gateway? The user just confirm, and easily they're logged in. One of the integration points are with standard Radius protocol, and of course, you can do federation as well. So one use case where we see a lot of companies, especially bigger ones, or for different reasons, security or other, they're still having Exchange on-prem and in the near future not going to cloud for that. But it has to be easy, and the user, they want to provide an easy and modern workplace to access those applications, Exchange in this example, even if it's still on-prem. But with Citrix combined with Pawnshop, you can actually have the perfect solution. So Citrix publish Outlook, webmail, ActiveSync, and Pointsharp secures a login to each of these. We're using MFA with our app, but we're also using MFA using AppDNA and some other scenarios that are unique to our solution. So you can create a lot of really nice use cases and security scenarios, even for some critical applications that are still on-prem, and you want to provide a modern workplace with a user experience that is nice to your end users. Another example is Citrix Workspace or Citrix ShareFile, the old name, which you can deploy on-prem or in cloud. You can publish Workspace through Citrix Gateway. You can use the Citrix Gateway as an IDP to protect the login and do it based on federation, and it's protected by Pawnshop multifactor authentication. You can also protect the login to Workspace, ShareFile, or other scenarios if you base your federation technology on Microsoft ADFS. Pawnshop have full integration and take full control of the login process in ADFS, but you get the benefit that the tickets are generated by ADFS, which ensures that you get 100% compatible with all the services, including Microsoft Office 365 that are based on ADFS, but you are in control of the authentication process. So there are many ways of enabling an efficient workspace with Citrix, and all customers may not use all the options, but whatever option and use case that is valid for your organization, Pawnshop add value by integrating, securing the login, so you can trust the identities of your user, and you can expand the solution and use cases over time. So some quick technical overview. Users and cloud apps are normally out on the internet already, especially cloud, of course. But if your own infrastructure are in cloud, on-prem, or in hybrid, it really doesn't matter. Pawnshop delivers software that can be run virtually and integrate with your Active Directory, ADFS, and Citrix components to ensure you can log into all your applications. With this, we can offer full control how you protect your user identities, no matter what application and where they are located. You have the flexibility of choice. We don't offer a public cloud service of Pointsharp, but rather work with partners who deliver Pointsharp as a service for those who want to be in control, but still want the benefit of a service package. So then you have a great options of sourcing MFA from a service provider that you trust. So to summarize, with Citrix and Pointsharp, you have all you need to build a modern workplace where it's easy for your users to work and be efficient, and you can rest assured that you have full control over your users' identities and when and to what application they get access to. So thanks for taking time today. I will leave it back now to Anna to go through the Q&A as well, and hopefully we have some answers as well.
Right. Thanks very much, Nicholas. I think great presentation again. I know we did this webinar earlier today, and it's your evening, but I think it went really well. Great insights shared with our attendees today. So let's quickly move on to Q&A session. We have a few questions popping in. Let me go right ahead. So does Pointsharp support FIDO or FIDO2 hardware keys using NFC on iPhone or Android devices?
Yes, we support the FIDO keys and part of working with the oath capability of those so they can be registered. We don't work with FIDO directly to protect, which is typical, protect the login to a device. Like if you want to have replace Windows Hello for a laptop or some other, because FIDO in that sense is designed to be serverless. So we protect more the login directly to the application and doing it without being depending on any hardware, so to speak.
Great. So next question. What's the licensing model for a customer who chooses to purchase Pointsharp?
Our license model is very user-centric. It's solely based on the amount of users that are using our service. So it's user-based, pricing is per user a month. So it's designed so you can grow and pay as you grow.
Great, Nicholas. Thank you. So could you tell us some of the key differences between Pointsharp and your competitors?
Obviously, I'm not objective, and I think our products are great, but there are a lot of MFA vendors out there today, and there's a lot of things that are equal between the vendors. And to highlight one of the things that separate us a little bit from the competition is we really focus on the end user experience, and that's something we get from our customers very appreciated, especially when they evaluate towards other vendors on the market. We also, one of the big thing being is that we as an authentication company and our competitors, everybody has an authentication service, obviously, but we also offer an authentication gateway, and with that we've been able to both focus on mobile and mobility, because we can cover other scenarios where other authentication vendors can't, mobile email being one, active synchronizing. We have a seamless way of securing the login for that as well, or Outlook without VPN and so forth. But with that, we can also deliver a solution that is typical delivered as pure cloud services, but we can offer that with a modern login app, push notification, and still be 100% on-prem. And for a lot of large organizations that care about security, they're really keen on separating authentication and how they protect their user identities. And at the same time, they want to have as modern tools as possible, but still have the option for being 100% on-prem if required. And that's something that separates us from a lot of our competition, that we have that capability as well. And of course, we focus heavily on Citrix. Not all other vendors do that.
Right. Always a pleasure to work with you, Nicholas. And last but not the least, for customers, how easy is it to set up Pointsharp and get going?
It's quite straightforward. Basically, we have two options. We deliver software. So for customers that want to be in control themselves, they source our software from any of our partners. They can deploy it in virtual servers in their own infrastructure, cloud or on-prem. We're running on Microsoft servers. And for other customers that want to have us service, we don't offer our own public service, but we do that through partners that can deliver our product as a service.
Sounds great. Thanks very much for sharing all these insights with us, Nicholas. We've had a couple of attendees asking if the webinar will be recorded. To answer that, yes, we are recording the webinar and will share the recording with all the registrants and attendees for today's webinar. And with that said, we are about to end today's webinar. I want to take a moment to thank all the attendees who made some time to attend today's webinar. I'm sure you guys had great insights about Pointsharp and how it integrates with Citrix. And also thanks very much, Nicholas, for this fantastic presentation.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure, and it's all on my side. And thank you also from my side for everybody attending.
Great. And with that said, we are about to end today's broadcast. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.